Buenas tardes, welcome to my channel Better Monday Fasting. In this video I'm going to go over the early stages of fasting. Before getting started, I want to make it clear that nothing I share in this video or on the channel is medical advice, so please do your own research before making any health related decisions. I've been watching the videos I'm shooting and listening to the things I'm saying, and I realized that it has already been almost like it has been actually 9 years. Like I'm fasting since 2016. So sometimes I tend to forget like how it can be difficult at the beginning. Not only the first initial like fasting cycles, but also, in the mind, it's the unknown. You're going towards the unknown. So depending on your personality, that could be easy, or could be challenging. Because the last thing we want to mix fasting with is fear. I think that's kind of the only danger. It's one of the chapters of my book for a Better Monday that is available on Amazon. We don't want to mix fasting with fear. You've heard of people dying of hunger, but also you also heard of people reaching like ultimate like health without eating anything. So there's a very fine line where, to stop eating, it can either be beneficial or it can harm you, harm us. And I believe, with my experience, that it's only my belief that fine line is psychological, psychological, and also fasting is something we choose to do. Whereas starving, usually it's not something we choose to do. So that's the first big difference. And then how we live our fasting. If every 5 minutes we're like, oh my God, what's gonna happen? And we're stressing out, that's a bad mix, But if we are confident, we have faith in fasting, then it's gonna be way more easier, So already, like even before getting started with fasting, in our heads we need to be ready, So I'm gonna do my daily grounding here. So already in our heads we need to be ready, and best way to be ready is like to have faith. That could be through, some people do it through religion, but you don't have to be religious. Like, you just have to have faith that fasting is something built in our system as human beings, as living beings, and that it's gonna do you good, even if there are challenging moments, it's going to do you good. So that's the first thing, and not to anticipate too much, to look for what's going to happen, what's next. Like, kind of let the process happen, and always in the corner of your mind know that if you encounter really challenging symptoms, you can always break your fast. There's no losing with fasting. We break our fast, and then we recoup, and then we'll come back at it at a further time. So that's the first thing. Like, before getting started, have faith, be convinced, and if you're not, keep doing some research. Keep looking for testimonies. um, until you have that the initial confidence. And once you have that, at least mentally you'll be ready. And then on depending on what technique you're going to use to get started, I have 3 techniques in my book, and also I have videos on those 3 techniques on how to get started with fasting. So depending on the technique, you might experience like more challenging symptoms. I mean, it's the second technique. It's the one that we just, we wake up and we pick a day when we don't have much responsibilities, and then we keep fasting, after waking up, and we try to extend our fast as much as possible. And if that's our first fast, I mean, chances are we're gonna be facing pretty violent symptoms. It all depends also on the toxicity levels of the body. So it might happen, also it might also not happen. But one thing to keep in mind is just that the first, I mean, before starting fasting, we have to be mentally ready. When we start fasting, we need to expect like symptoms that can be very discomforting, and then it's gonna take time for us to adapt to that new reality. I mean, the blood sugar levels are gonna be adapted. All these changes are gonna happen, and that's a lot of work, and it can also have like indirect consequences, So the idea is like, take it slow, be patient, and let the process happen, and know that probably like those first sessions are going to be the most difficult ones. And also keep in mind that most people, they give up after their first fast. Like if the symptoms are too violent, they're like, oh, this is not for me. But it's counterintuitive. It's one of those counterintuitive things about fasting, is that in reality, more violent are the symptoms, more difficult it is to fast for a person. Most likely, that person needs the fasting the most, because somebody that is already naturally doing the cleansing work with the 8-hour sleep, or somehow maybe they're fasting without knowing it, so the symptoms might be milder, So the more violent the symptoms are, and more resistance we have, actually it's a sign that we may need fasting more than anyone, that is not experiencing those challenges. It's a little bit like you have the person that comes to the beach and jumps straight in the water, comes, takes off the shirt and jumps into the water, no big deal. Then you have a type of person that puts one toe in, and then it's like, oh, it's cold, and the other toe in, and basically what that is that the second person has her adaptation capacity is lower. So the guy who's jumping into the water, he goes from X amount of degrees, like a hot weather, to cold, and that interval, he can cope with it because his adaptation capacity is very high. And somebody that has a shorter bandwidth, it's gonna create resistance. And one way to check your adaptation capacity is just lay on the ground, and as fast as you can, be safe. It might be different for each individual, but try to stand up, And once you stand up, If your vision is like that, you know, it takes you a while, like longer it takes you to see and feel normal again, well, weaker is your adaptive capacity. But if you can like lay down, stand up, lay down, or do burpees, and you know you're fine, then your adaptive capacity is pretty strong, you know. So it's the same with jumping into different temperature water or fasting. And more resistance you're gonna have, like more you're like, oh no, I don't want to do that, it's like it's horrible. Well, in reality, it's more like you need it. Like the more you need to cleanse your system and get stronger and have a better adaptive capacity. So yeah, once in a while I'll do those videos. Like sometimes I get like disconnected, you know, like because it's been so long I've been fasting, and like if you watch my videos, like it looks like, yeah, you know, everything is easy, everything is going well. Sometimes I have tendency to forget where I'm coming from, you know, and then there has been difficult times, and I didn't have. I mean, I had like done some research online, but at some point I was like questioning, you know, is this going anywhere? Like, because sometimes you'll make progress, sometimes you'll plateau a little bit, but it's all like it's a process. It's a process, and yeah, you have to have that leap of faith. Just believe that it's gonna work, without understanding necessarily, you know. Just have faith, that leap of faith in fasting, and as I said in one of my videos, I never regretted a fasting session, never. Like there has been ones that were like really difficult, but I never, after completing the fast, I was never like, oh, I shouldn't have done it, like I've lost something doing that. No, it's on the contrary. It's always like, well, it was difficult, but now I'm gonna reap the benefits. So yeah, so if you're thinking about fasting, or you're in the early stages, yeah, take it easy, don't take it too hard on yourself, have faith, and one step after another, you know, and it's okay to have setbacks. It's okay to be in a place where, well, you know, like symptoms are too fierce, you know, so no problem, we'll break the fast, recoup, and we give it another try, and the chances are it's going to be way easier the second time around. So something to keep in mind, and yeah, I wish you a happy fasting. Thank you for watching the video.